Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Tie My Skates podcast. It's DG and Z, and since we last talked, the Flyers have been slightly struggling, to say the least. Things really haven't been good. Z, do you have any thoughts to start the episode?
I don't know how to feel about this team, man. I don't know if it's because we got overexcited in the offseason or...
Dude, it went from, I remember the beginning of last episode, we were pretty happy with everything. I think we were 6-2-2, and now we're 8-6-4, I believe, after tonight's game against Florida. I mean, geez, not the stretch of games we wanted to have, but
I felt like we were so optimistic last episode, though, because we actually thought like Hayes and Ellis coming back in like a couple weeks and that they're going to make a huge difference and blah, blah, blah. And we get them back for,
a game or two.
Games.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Hayes and Ellis in this lineup long-term like make a difference in how they're playing right now.
I mean, I think Ellis would at least help on the back end. I mean, because we're not scoring goals, so we still need that steady D in goaltending if we want to win games, especially when we're not scoring.
I personally, I don't think defense. I know goaltending hasn't been bad. I don't really think defense has been a problem. It's been the power play and the scoring.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get into it as we go on through the episode. Yeah. But to bolster the power play, I mean, sometimes you got to make a coaching change, and you see in the NFL, the Giants just fired Jason Garrett, their offensive coordinator. So why can't the Flyers fire somebody that's underperforming? Who knows?
Well, so AV came out and he defended Michel Therrien and said that he's the head coach and he makes the decisions on the power play. He chooses the personnel out there. Blah 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 blah. So what is Michel Therrien's job? Strategy, I guess. Well, the strategy is flawed. Well, then that's his job.
Well, then if AV's saying he's choosing the men out there, then why the fuck does he still have Provorov and PP1?
I don't know.
It's stuff like that boggles my mind. But I'm sure we'll keep talking about it as the episode goes on. But let's get into the game recap segment of the episode. So since we last talked, the Flyers have lost quite a few games. The first being against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a 3-0 loss. I mean, it wasn't a good game overall. Obviously, we got shut out. But, Nylander had 2 goals. It was a tough game.
Yep. The Flyers couldn't really produce any high danger chances. I just remember them. Everything was from the outside, from the perimeter, or going through the slot to nobody. And when there were rebounds in front, no one was there for the Flyers to tap them in. So I think they made it real easy on Toronto, which is they've blown out some teams this year, but they've also been terrible defensively. So...
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to pick up a win against Toronto. I feel like they were struggling in the beginning of the season. I kind of feel like they've started to play more of their game now, but it would have been nice to win. But then after a tough loss there, we end up, having a big win against a really good team in the Carolina Hurricanes, 2-1 Friday night.
That was all Carter Hart that game. He was amazing.
Yeah, I remember watching that game on the TV at the bar and just seeing these just spectacular saves that guy was making. I mean, he really is, probably one of the front runners for the Vezina at this point, especially if he keeps up this A+ play.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Anderson played well too, and I mean we had no right winning that game. I don't think. I think Carter Hart saved. I don't know. We don't talk a lot about analytics and goals above saved or whatever, goals above saved above expected, whatever fucking statistic that is. Apparently he was really good.
I mean,
apparently he saved a lot of shots that should have been goals.
I mean, if we think Carter Hart's playing good and the analytic guys are behind that too, then he must be playing pretty good right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his numbers show that he's played really well. It's just the team can't score.
Exactly. I mean, you said it. The Carter Hart won us that game, and that seems to be a recurring theme as this season progresses, that the goalies are the reason we're winning these hockey games.
Yeah, opposite of last year.
Yeah, for sure. Then the next night, so this is the first back-to-back of this stretch of games. They end up getting their ass kicked by the Dallas Stars. I think this is the game Hayes and Ellis came back, and obviously Ellis was re-injured during the game. But it was just a bad game overall.
Yeah, that was a tough back-to-back going from Carolina to Dallas. Dallas had been waiting. They hadn't played for five days, and they kind of had a little fire up their ass because they had been playing poorly, and they had time to game plan and wait for the Flyers to come play. And they, I personally I didn't watch the game, just watched the highlights. But I think they 5-2 loss. They sort of dismantled them, and the Flyers didn't really have a lot of gas after coming from Carolina the night before.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if you said it's 5 games that Dallas was, or 5 days Dallas was off before that game. It's kind of fucked up that we have a back-to-back when another team's got almost a full week to rest. It just doesn't make sense from a scheduling standpoint. But like, we know the NHL isn't the best at that shit. So
they're pretty bad.
What can we expect?
Yep. They turned it around the next game, though, in Calgary. 2-1 win in OT. We can talk about the Hayes goal. I think Ristolainen kept it in the zone, got a down low to Hayes. He tried to pass it across. It went off the defenseman who was, trying to block the pass, went right back to Hayes. Markstrom went across to, expecting a 1T, and there was a wide open net there, yawning open for Hayes to tap it in. And right after he scores, points to the heavens, taps his chest, his heart. Atkinson comes over, gives him a big hug. He scored that first goal for Jimmy. So
yeah, I mean that was an awesome moment. Not only a big goal in the hockey game that helped us get the win, but I mean just an awesome moment to see Hayes score. I actually almost bet Hayes to score before the game. I'm pissed that I didn't, because I just had that feeling. I bet him in Dallas. He didn't score. I mean, if he's not going to score the first game, he's going to score the second, and that's exactly what he did.
Should have. Yeah, Johnny Hockey looked crazy in this game. Like, what did he have, like 10 or 11 shots on goal? He was just flying up and down the ice.
Yeah, he was
auditioning for Chuck to get a contract hopefully next year.
Exactly.
But one thing I did notice in this game, contrary to the last game we played in Calgary, where they shut us out 5-0 or 6-0 at Calgary, the coaching staff made an adjustment in this game. Did you notice it, DG?
It was too long ago for me to remember.
Okay. They actually made an adjustment. Markstrom, really good at coming out and playing the puck, which is not good when you play dump and chase, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the goalie's really good at handling the puck, he's going to get it going the opposite direction before any forecheckers can get in. I noticed, I don't know, I can't remember if it was the second or the third period, they weren't putting in any soft dumps. They were really hitting them and hammering them in hard, rimming them around the board so that Markstrom couldn't come out and play them. And I think that really affected the pressure and the forecheck and their offensive ability in that game. But so it was good to see, a mid-game adjustment, which who knows the last time we saw that with a Flyers team.
Yeah.
Coaching staff.
I mean, that is brilliant by AV and the coaching staff. I'll give them that. I mean, it probably ended up helping us win that game, so it's huge.
Yep, and then that one ended in OT. Goudreau with a turnover. Coots takes it up, shoots it off the pad, looking for a rebound, goes straight to Atkinson, who knocks it in.
Yeah.
Markstrom almost saves it with the stick, but it gets past him, and Flyers win the game.
Yeah, it was just a huge win, especially after the Dallas loss. Another tight hockey game, 2-1. It seems like, as I said before, the recurring theme, we can only win a hockey game if it's 2-1, Can't win any of those high-scoring games right now.
Looks like it.
All right, and then a couple days later, we end up playing the Boston Bruins, I believe. Oh, no, the Tampa Bay Lightning first, where we ended up losing 4-3 in a shootout. And from what I can remember from that game, I just remember Drew absolutely undressing Vasilevsky like 2 minutes into the hockey game to start it off, and then him again scoring late to tie it, and then obviously that insane overtime that was just back and forth. And of course, we had to end such an incredible game in the skills competition that is the shootout.
Yeah. I did not like Couturier's attempt on that shootout. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do. He just
kind
of
just skated
up,
and you could tell he wanted to go 5-hole, and there was no 5-hole there, and he still tried to go 5-hole. He just shot it right into his pads.
Yeah, I love Coots, but I feel like it's time to try different guys on the
dude. TK Farabee, Atkinson,
exactly. I want to see Farabee out there. Atkinson, 100%. He's the perfect guy for something like that.
And then put G third if you have to, or
Yeah,
fourth.
I
or
like putting
whatever.
G first. I want him to like lead off like a captain.
He's taken so many shootouts. I don't think he has any moves left. Like everyone knows the tape on him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but you can always develop more.
Yeah.
He actually, when we get to it though, tonight he tried to do that move again. Somebody got a stick on him, the one he did against Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
I did see that. But then, Point and Stamkos are the first two shooters on Tampa, and obviously they both just snipe.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play the Lightning.
Can't really blame it on Carter Hart.
No, I think they're both the same shot too, top left.
Yep. So good to see the Flyers come back in the game and tie it with 9 seconds left or 8 seconds left, whatever it was. Good to see G, still carrying this team. It's crazy that it's been however many years, 12 years. 12
and G
years.
Is still our best player.
Still our best player.
Yeah, that's a problem. Now, I love G, and he's always going to be my favorite Flyer, but he can't be the best player on this team anymore, and that's something Chuck's going to have to address. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
I mean, we can win games with him as our best player. I don't know if we can go far in the playoffs. I shouldn't say I don't know. We can't go far in the playoffs with a 33-year-old Claude Giroux as our best player.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And so
why don't you take the Bruins game?
Yeah, so the Bruins game, I know you didn't watch it. I ended up going. Wasn't the best game to go to. Star Wars night. That stuff was kind of cool, I guess, but when the game's so bad, everything else just kind of stinks. I remember, I think Boston went up 2-0 pretty early. Then Philly ended up coming back and tying it, and then just as the game went on, we kind of just lost it. Just overall, it's just like the game against Dallas, where you kind of felt like we just didn't have a chance. It was just another one of those games, and just kind of sucked. And we've been having a lot of these games lately, and we can't have that continue to happen. But just a bad game.
Jones got shellacked in that game. Like you said, I didn't watch. Was it more of defense not playing well, or was he just out of position?
Yeah, you're right with Jones. I feel like a couple of those he could have stopped, but I mean, I think the Bruins had 40+ shots that game, and you're not. Yeah. You're just.
Was that the one they had 21 in the first period or something?
Yeah, it was 21
Ridiculous.
to 8 or something in the first period. It was just fucking nuts. But you're just not going to win a hockey game when you allow that many shots.
And then that Pasternak goal, that was bad.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
Yeah, it was. It's whatever. I mean, you got to shake it off. The memory of a goldfish, as Ted Lasso would say.
Next game they played was against the Lightning. Lightning missing Point and Kucherov. Doesn't really matter when you have Stamkos, Hedman, and Vasilevsky. Lightning win 4-0. Flyers looked flat. Didn't really produce anything. And as such, they did not score a goal.
Yeah. This isn't a game I really want to talk too much about, but just absolutely smacked going into it thinking without Kucher, Point, you might have a better chance, and then obviously just really didn't stand a chance, even with Carter in net.
Nope. And he made some crazy saves, but when Zach Bogosian is deking through your entire team and
he looked crazy last night,
making slap shots and flipping
Bogosian was
backhanders.
Nuts. He looked like a what's it, the Vezina? No, the fucking Norris. He looked like a Norris Trophy winner the way he was skating around there, and he's like a bona fide defenseman 4.
I just love that shit when they're like, dude, he hasn't scored in 41 games or whatever it was.
Yeah, thanks Jim Jackson. Now he's going to score.
Since before the pandemic.
Yeah. Dude, I've been watching the games mostly on because I do jailbroken things.
Yeah.
And I have been able to get the Flyers one, so I've been watching it on Bally Sports. So I watched the Lightning game with the Lightning announcers, and then
the Lightning feed, yeah.
Then the Panthers one with their feed.
The site I use, you can choose either feed.
Yeah.
So usually I'll go back on the opposite team's feed and watch back goals that the Flyers score and shit like that, if they are scoring goals against teams, just to see what they say about our players.
Right.
But yeah, it is funny how biased each feed is.
It really is. It's kind of funny, and they're a lot different from Flyers feeds too, because I feel like Jim Jackson and Keith Jones I feel like they get a little bit more opinionated than most people. Because, I mean, Philadelphia,
Jim,
it is what it is.
JJ this year has just been letting it fly with a lot of,
I like it. In his old age, he's starting to not give a fuck and just letting shit fly, like saying
when
how
there's
he feels.
bad calls. When there's bad calls, he has no problem being like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I almost said, "Fuck him." Like he wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
but
he's a pro.
Just like, you gotta be joking. Like the flop of all flops. Like in today's game.
Speaking of flops, there was a flop tonight when Provorov took that penalty.
That's what he was talking about.
He was saying
JJ
that.
said, "Oh, you missed it." Yeah, JJ said it tonight.
Yeah, dude. I
what
thought
did the
it
Florida
might have
Panthers,
just.
the Florida announcers say? Were they just like vicious cross check by Provorov?
Yeah, exactly. He was calling Provorov like that was like unsportsmanlike, like that was like stupid on him. And I get that maybe he shouldn't be going after him, but like he was like, "Hey, don't hit Konechny," and the dude literally fell. It was in slow mo when I saw it the second time, so I was like, "Oh, maybe the slow mo's playing into it a little bit." But
it was Provorov who got hit during play. Like Provorov got like taken out, and he was like going back up to him to stand up for himself. Gave him a little shot in the ribs. Like, yeah, those hurt, but you're not gonna like get sniped and flail in the air.
Yeah, it looked like a soccer play the way that he fell to the ice, Sam Bennett.
Yeah. Especially with 3 minutes left, the way that game was going.
I know.
I mean, they didn't score on the power play, but it's still.
Dude, I thought they were going to score. Changer. I was like, fuck.
I thought for sure they're going to score.
We get fucked. Yeah. Luckily, we didn't. Ended up getting the point. So I guess we're on to the Panthers game.
Yeah, we already went. We already talked about the ending of it. So.
Yeah, but I mean, tonight was a good game. I think at first it looked really, really bad. Then Konechny's stretch pass to Farabee on the breakaway to get the 1-0 lead really did change the game. I think we were pretty much in it the rest of the time there. Like we were pretty competitive, but obviously fell a little short, lost in overtime.
Yeah. No Barkov for Florida. Again, didn't matter. They still have really good players. Jones,
hockey's a team game,
Yeah, Jones played really well. Like you said, the stretch pass from TK to Beezer, those were there all game, and that's going to happen against a team like Florida, who is all about moving the puck up the ice and just playing transition. There's going to be defensive breakdowns. They're not a very defensive sound team, but they have so much speed and offense that they don't have to be a defensively sound team. But you saw that stretch pass available a ton, and I don't know if you saw it since you were watching the Panthers feed, but TK also hit Frost on a stretch pass, and
it was offsides.
He was 100% onside.
Oh, I know, but they called it offsides. I know. I saw that all over Twitter, just how obviously onsides it was.
And we saw our boy Coots. He had tweeted like, when that happens, if it's like a 50-50 like that, just let it play out. You have review there.
Yeah,
it makes no sense for you to blow the whistle when there's a guy in all alone on a play like that.
And to be honest with you, before they even went to the review, it didn't even look offsides to me at all. It looked completely.
It looked onside
fine.
In real time.
Yeah, it didn't look anywhere close.
It was ridiculous.
It was close, but it really didn't look close in real time.
Yeah, I really didn't like the refs tonight. I mean, I hate them every fucking night, but they were.
To be honest, we got away with a lot tonight. They kind of.
They let both teams get away with a lot.
Yeah,
which is fine if you're going to do it that way.
But then you don't call a penalty with 3 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
If you're going to call the game like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you call both. Call them for flopping and then call them for a cross-check. Who cares? Put them both in the box. As long as you do that, I'm okay with it.
Exactly. That's what JJ was saying. At least call the embellishment.
Yeah.
Take them both if you're going to call Provy for the cross-check.
Yeah.
That's
how the refs always are.
Yeah. It got a little hairy at the end there when they were going back and forth with really good offensive attempts. It was kind of wide open, and that's what you don't want to do against Florida when they're begging you to play the speed transition game, and you sort of gave them that. And then same in overtime, they were just cycling. They were just literally skating in circles around the offensive zone, passing the puck, and the Flyers
Yeah, I remember that second line that came out with TK and Coots on it. They just looked like they were out of position, and I thought they were going to score on them so easily.
They were stuck out there for too long. And
TK was out there for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and they were completely out of position. Two guys were skating up to the same player with the puck, and then one had to peel back. And then there was one moment where TK just looked at Provy and he was pointing at different players like they did not know who they had.
Yeah, what since we're getting into overtime, what's your preference on like how to play defense there? Do you like zone or man on man? Because it seemed like the Flyers were trying to play man on man, but they were really losing their guys pretty easily. I feel like zone would have
zone makes so much more sense. Just again, when you're playing against the speed factor, if it's like a team that likes to get set up, I guess it's different. But if you're
I feel like Florida's a team that likes to use the perimeter and do that kind of stuff, that I'd rather play a tight zone and clog the middle of the ice and kind of just make them take shots from the outside.
I think you do it tight. It wouldn't be a box.
I would do a triangle, two guys down low, one guy high, that kind of zone.
And let them do all the shit from the outside, dude. Let them shoot it from the perimeter, whatever. Goalies love that shit. They should make those saves. Right. But when you're playing man and they're cycling like that, all it takes is one guy to get out of position, and then the play's wide open.
Boom. Yeah. That's why 3-on-3 overtime is so electric.
Yeah, exactly.
But just to get into a little bit more of this game, I think Frost did actually look very good tonight. Obviously, he made some mistakes. Most notably, I think in the third, he had a giveaway that led to a big scoring chance. But overall, I think he was noticeable in a lot of good ways tonight. And I think he's definitely earned his place to at least stay for now until we get at least Brassard back, if not Hayes as well.
I mean, what choice do we have, man? I mean, I was honestly shocked it took them this long to call him up. Like,
me too. It seemed like Chuck was like didn't really want to. It seemed like he wanted to leave him down in Lehigh Valley just to play on the Phantoms.
I mean, Brassard, a lot of heart, serviceable player, scored 2 goals the other night. Was that the Boston game?
Mm-hmm.
Has put up way more points offensively than probably any of us thought he would this far into the season. But
that's because of where he's playing right now.
He's a bottom 6 guy.
Yeah. I mean,
great. I would love him as the fourth line center. Oh, almost said first line there. As the fourth line center, and so you still need Frost in there to play a 2 or 3 role.
I think Frost is in his best position to succeed on that second line center. I'd let Hayes play if Frost continues to play like at least this well. Play Frost at 2C and Hayes at 3C and let Hayes work himself back into the game, because clearly throwing him back on the second line right away was a little too much. I know he got hit kind of awkwardly in that Calgary game.
Spun around and you could tell he pulled something.
Yeah, so I think, and core muscle is tough because I feel like it's real easy to re-aggravate because like you're twisting your whole body the whole time you're out there.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think Hayes on the third line to get himself work back in whenever he's back. I know he's week to week, but I think that would be a better approach than to just throw him back into the fire.
I think we should put him on LTIR, make a move, and if we make the playoffs,
bring him back.
Bring him back. Kucherov it.
That's very interesting. You just want Hayes to sit out the rest of the year and just pretend he's injured, even if he's not?
I mean, he probably should. He had 2 surgeries in the past, 3 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
4 months.
I mean, maybe.
And then re-aggravated the injury. I don't think any amount of, rest, like you said, you're twisting, you're turning the entire time you play. Anything can tweak it. Resting for 3 months versus 6 months, I don't think is going to make a difference.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how Chuck handles the situation. I think Ellis is already on LTIR. I'm not sure, though. Or just IR, I think.
Yeah, I think he's just on IR.
What's he, 4 to 6 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, which also, dude, get your shit together, guys. Like we said previously, keep Ellis out as long as he has to be out, as long as, we just need him playing in the playoffs, in the end of the year in the playoffs run.
I agree with that, but at the same time, it seems like we were doing well without them, but now it's notable that without them, there are holes in this team. So not having them right now does suck, because it seems like we, squeezed out everything we could of this lineup.
Justin Braun.
Squeeze everything out of Justin Braun and Derek Brassard on 2C. It's just, we need those guys back, and if they're not going to come back soon, you're right. Somebody needs to go on LTIR, and Chuck needs to make a move, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. A certain name. I don't want to say it right now. We'll talk about it later.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, though, Wade Allison on the ice. Skating.
Oh, yeah. It's a huge sign for our bottom six. He would really bolster our lineup down there.
Where does he fit in?
I mean, on the current lineup, you want him to be at third line, I think. Or I guess you'd put him in instead of McEwen because he would be feisty, kind of like McEwen is sometimes. But I mean,
McEwen's our second best player.
I know that's where I was heading. I was like, but can we even do that right now with how well he's playing? I mean, I know he's fourth line, but still, like, you need a good fourth line.
He got up to the third line this game.
He did
after his performance against the Lightning.
Got rewarded.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, looking at the bottom six, like, JVR, Lawton, Lindblom. We've seen absolutely nothing from them. 5-on-5.
Yeah, Lindblom's been invisible recently. I just have not noticed him even playing the game. It might be because AV's burying him minutes-wise.
He's on the fourth line, yeah.
But yeah, it's not good. You want that guy to take a step up after playing a full year last year.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, when we did our lineups for the year. I personally think you get the most out of Lindblom in a top six role with playmaking forwards.
Right.
On his line.
And right now, when we're not scoring goals, why not try something drastically different, like putting him up there?
It's not even drastically different, dude. Throw TK, Coots, and Lindblom back together.
Yeah, I mean, remember the days where we would throw like Mike Richards or Giroux with just a horrible player, like Daniel Carcillo was playing with Richards for a long time, stuff like that.
Voracek Raffle line.
Yeah, I think Lindblom's a lot better than those guys. So don't you think that would work out a lot better now, doing something like that?
I don't know. I guess it's like you can't put the guys at the top, like you can't push them down. It's different with G playing wing now too. It's like you have Farabee, G, TK, and Atkinson. And who are you putting on the third line out of those guys? I guess Atkinson.
Yeah.
And then JVR.
I mean, we're talking about problems that are good, though.
Yeah.
Who cares if we have to push a good player to the third line? We have to.
Yeah, not like he's on a ton 5v5 anyway.
Yeah, right, exactly. Why don't we roll into Around the League, get a little bit away from the Flyers for a few minutes? So I guess this Around the League segment is basically the jersey segment because there were a bunch of jersey releases in the past coming weeks. Most notably, the New Jersey Devils putting out their alternate jersey. It's all black with some white stripes, and it just says Jersey in the middle because it's a hockey jersey.
Did you see who it was designed by?
Yes, Martin Brodeur.
So bad.
I don't think it was designed by him. I think that's a quote taken out of proportion. I think he had
context.
I think he had like a hand in it, but he wasn't he wasn't doing it. Like he didn't sit down and sketch it out,
Yeah, I know that. Obviously, he's not a graphic designer.
Yeah.
But just stick to your fucking Enterprise Rent-A-Car commercials, Martin.
Yeah, and cheating on your wife. Come on, man.
And cheating on your wife with her sister or whatever the fuck it was.
That's crazy.
That's a low blow, DG. You have to bring that one up.
I don't think Martin Brodeur is going to be listening to Tie My Skates anytime soon, so I think we're in the
I
clear.
know. It's just, the man has a family. All right. Yeah, horrible fucking jersey.
Yeah.
And we'll get into this when I talk about my take on the Canadian Olympic jersey. But you have red, black, and white as your color palette, which is like probably one of the best color palettes to have.
Easily.
And that's what you come up with.
There's no red in it at all.
Is the jersey
just
the jersey
barely? It's like outlined in red slightly. Yeah.
And your team is the Devil, so there's no devil horns. Like there's no the devil tail like on the NJ.
Yeah. Why didn't they add that to it at least?
The end of the Y.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or just patches on the shoulders. The that would have been cooler. The stripes are too thick. And my favorite thing about this is when these new jerseys come out is you see like 50 better jersey designs on your timeline after.
Right.
So like, oh, they should have done this.
Somebody goes on their
Jesus Christ.
their Microsoft Paint and just whips up something in 2 minutes. Yeah, it's crazy. I think we need to cancel New Jersey as a state overall after this. It was just so bad.
I saw your tweet about New Jerseyans. I am a New Jerseyan. I was born in Philly, but I did grow up in New Jersey, so.
Yes, but you were born in Philadelphia, and now you live in Philadelphia. No, you shouldn't take offense. And
I don't.
And even in me tweeting that, I was just laughing. I was like, oh, if people get pissed at this, it would just be funny just to see if they get angry.
Yeah.
You can push people's buttons on Twitter pretty easily, so I was expecting a little hate to come back. Not really too much hate. I think it was a lot of sarcastic hate, but...
Real bad jersey, and then the Devils, after they announced it, put out a video of like their star players seeing the jersey for the first time
and then being like,
"Oh my god, it's so sick! This is the sickest jersey ever! Can't wait to wear these. We love them." It's like, no, you fucking don't, dude.
Yeah, some of the teammates that probably thought they were shit probably laughed at them for that a couple days later.
No, I mean they said, "Hey guys, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna film you guys. Just say the jersey's really cool. All right, bye."
You're right. You're
action.
right. That's exactly what happened. I wouldn't doubt it.
Let's talk about the Olympic jerseys then. Canada and U.S. released their Olympic jerseys today.
Yeah. And out of all these jerseys, it's hilarious how the Canadian jerseys are somehow the best.
I like them. Yeah. I mean, I don't love the way they did the maple leaf. It kind of looks like a shell, or like the Shell logo for like the gas station.
I agree. And I think the red is a little too bold at times. I wish the red was a little more doled out. It's kind of it pops too much for me.
Yeah, but if you're going with an all-black jersey as one of your options, I love that all day. I'll take that shit all day.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the worst Olympic jersey released recently.
No.
Team
I think the past
was,
few years, like, Canada's had the sicker jerseys than U.S.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just too easy for the United States to have a good jersey. The basic template is already there. You just have to, push the colors around in different directions, and that's about it. Add a couple stripes here or there, and you're good.
And what they did was so bad.
I looked at them, and I thought they were like long sleeve, like workout shirts. I didn't know they were
like
jerseys.
Nike Dry Fit?
Yeah. Or like soccer jerseys.
Yeah, someone said they look like soccer warm-up jerseys.
It's nuts. Like the jerseys
USA
you wear before you take it off and actually have your jersey on underneath.
It's because like the USA in it isn't even like centered. It's like all the way at the top.
It's ridiculous.
And just like a cross.
I was getting so excited for this Olympics, and the jerseys just is a huge bummer. I don't think anybody likes them. I can't tell you.
And they have two all blue ones. One's like a dark blue and one's like a brighter blue. And it's like, what's the point of that? Like, throw a white in there.
Yeah. Red, white, and blue. You got 3 options. Pick one.
So bad. But yeah, Canada has sick jerseys. They have Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, so they're probably going to win the Olympics.
Yeah,
the gold.
Definitely. And Carter Hart, potential goaltender.
That'll be sick if he gets to be their starting goalie and they win gold.
I would like it.
If he's their starting goalie, I'm rooting for them. Totally.
Oh, of course. But what if Farabee goes to Team USA?
Still rooting for Carter Hart.
Yeah. I'll root for USA.
He has that winning pedigree already, and I want it to continue.
To win another thing. Gold medal.
Yeah. I want it to be like, 2-time CHL goalie, like Team Canada's.
Yeah, but then he'll end up having all these trophies except for the one that matters the most.
No, see, that comes later. It'll just get all of Canadian media talking about Carter Hart, and that's not a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. I don't want Carter Hart in the bright lights too much, though. No, he needs to be under the radar.
I only want it to happen if they win gold. If he starts and they lose, I'll be real pissed.
Yeah, if he played bad for them, it would be awful publicity. It would just be terrible. It'd be a shit show all over Twitter.
I don't know if you can play bad behind that, whatever that team's going to look like. I don't know what they're going to look like defensively, but
they'll be good. There's no doubt in my mind.
They'll be really fucking good.
But that's enough of the jersey talk. Let's get back into the Flyers. Let's do a little look ahead into the upcoming schedule. So before Christmas, it looks like we'll be playing 8 Metro teams, which is really big in regards to the season and how it'll pan out afterwards. I think, we talked about us having this big stretch in the last episode, and now it's another big stretch. I mean, this is the core part of the season, and if we end up slipping, adding a bunch of losses here, we're going to be, chasing teams in the Metro and the standings the rest of the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, back to our last episode, we looked at the stretch sort of that we just went through, like going up till the end of November, those 11 games from November 8th till November 30th. And
yeah, most of the games we've talked about tonight.
Yeah, most of the games we talked about tonight. We still have Carolina on Friday, New Jersey on Sunday, and then the Islanders on Tuesday. So 3 games left, 6 points left up for grabs. Out of a total 22 points in that 11-game stretch, I asked you last episode what would be a successful, run, and you said like at least 12.
Yeah.
So far, we have 6 points.
Halfway there. With
in the ones
only 6 points remaining, so we need to win all 3 games.
In the 8 games we played, we have 6 points, and there's 3 games remaining. If we win all of those, then we'll get to 12. And I guess that would be, I guess that would still be like a successful trip. I mean, the thing that concerns me isn't the wins and losses, it's how they've looked playing.
Yeah,
like they haven't looked engaged in a lot of those games.
We had the scoring touch early in the season, and it seems like it's completely gone now. It's been a rough stretch, and I guess what would you say is the bare minimum points now we need to get within these final last 3 games? So we have 6, and I said 12. I don't think we're going to hit 12, but, I mean, if we get to 9, I think that'd be okay. Get 3 points, go 1-1-1 in these next 3 games.
I guess it's okay.
Get the 10.
Based on what happened last week.
Yeah, get the 10. I'll be like, all right. Had a bad stretch. We played Tampa twice, Carolina, Toronto, Calgary, Boston, and the Panthers. I mean, those are all incredible teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we can get the 10 points these next 3 games, it will be good. And to talk about the games ahead after that with the 8 Metro teams, we also have a notable back-to-back against the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Avalanche at home, which mixed in with those 8 in-division games, that's another like huge back-to-back game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no easy points, man. And it feels like it's gonna be like that all season. And with the, most of those games coming up being division games, those are all 3-point games. We gotta catch up in the standings. We're 7th seed in the Metro. I mean, I know you can't standings watch too early in the year, but a lot of people use American Thanksgiving as a a good spot to look at the standings and see where teams end up.
We're 7th right now?
At least what they're on track for. Yeah.
Jeez.
In the Metro.
I mean, that just shows how good our fucking division is. I mean, everyone talks about it all the time. It's nuts. And if you're right, if we don't pick it up, if we don't start winning games, we're gonna be chasing, and it's not gonna be good.
The only team worse than us in the Metro is the Islanders. They haven't had a great run. I think they started their first 13 games of the year on the road because their stadium was still being built. Yep. And then their first game in the stadium, they got shut out by Toronto.
And then they got COVID.
Yeah, and a bunch of their players have COVID. They have a lot of injuries on the back end. So really, I think goaltending's been keeping them alive. But they're 5-9-2, with 12 points in 16 games.
And they're that is bad. And they're
we're 8-6-4.
So they're the 8th team right now.
They're the 8th team. We're 8-6-4, 20 points in 18 games. New Jersey's 8-5-4, 20 points in 17 games. So
what about
almost
Buffalo?
The same. Buffalo's in the Atlantic, but they
are. Jesus Christ! Yeah. I'm still thinking about last year.
Yeah. So our next game is going to be against Carolina. They're 14-2-1, 29 points in 17 games.
Hey, I mean, we just beat them. I think we're probably going to need.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be at that game as well. So
you will.
Hopefully, I'll see my first win this year. I'm 0-1-1 so far. So
yeah, I mean,
the win is coming.
I don't know,
soon.
man. if Carter Hart can repeat what he did against them last time we played, then yeah. But like, if we got anything less than that Carter Hart, we lose that game.
It's an afternoon game too, so I feel like historically
Black Friday game. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we good in Black Friday games? I can't remember.
We usually play the Rangers, don't we?
Oh, you're right. We do. That kind of sucks. We haven't played the Rangers once yet this year.
Now we'll play them in the first week of December, I think.
Yeah, we do. It's like the 4th game in the upcoming games we got.
I mean, they have 27 points in 19 games. They're 12-4-3. haven't seemed to take a step back.
Yeah.
After their hot start, you got Columbus and Pittsburgh in there. Who knows what Columbus is?
Pittsburgh sucks. I don't care about Pittsburgh, but of course they'll find ways to win games. I don't think we need to worry much about that now. I think looking at the standings this early is not what you need to do. I think there's just like a point total we need to get to. We need to make sure we're at least above 90. We need to be probably closer to the 100-point mark to make the playoffs. So yeah. I think that's what we need to worry about most, not the teams.
The important thing is how this team is playing, which, we went over their wins and losses from the past 2 weeks. Toronto, Flyers scored 0 goals. Carolina, they scored 2 goals. Dallas, 2 goals. Calgary, 2 goals. Lightning, 3 goals. Bruins, 2 goals. Lightning, 0 goals. Panthers, 1 goal. Not a lot of goals in those games. You can't win these games.
Yeah, if we added those up, I'm sure that's under 2 goals a game. That's brutal, and I can't continue. And to roll into post-game a little bit, if these offensive struggles continue and these injuries continue to hinder this team, Chuck's almost going to be forced to look into moves. And one name that I failed to mention earlier that I wanted to save till now, Vladimir Tarasenko, on NRD, NHL Rumors Daily's podcast, Cold Stove. He mentioned how, Chuck has a dream of getting Vladimir Tarasenko, and from the things he's heard, I guess Chuck has not given up on that dream. So hopefully we might have some Vlad in our future.
I think a lot of GMs dream of getting Vladimir Tarasenko on their team. But, the Flyers' luck is he would get injured the first game and then go on LTIR. And
well, then we just make another trade.
Yeah, so
we'll have the cap space.
I've heard that as well on another podcast. I heard that the St. Louis GM has been attending or has attended at least one Flyers game and watched. So there's something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
What podcast was this on?
It was Snow the Goalie.
Gotcha.
The question is who gets traded from the Flyers? How does the cap, gymnastics work? I think from going back to the offseason where people were trying to make moves for Tarasenko, I think St. Louis did not want to, hold any cap space or take any cap space or whatever. So they want to get rid of his entire salary. Are they willing to take on, a guy like JVR's salary? Does JVR
would we retain salary
at all for
scenario?
For Tarasenko?
Is it possible for us to retain salary in that scenario, especially if they don't want to take on salary? I feel like you'd have to take some of JVR's salary. I don't think St. Louis
We'd have to move another roster player.
Otherwise.
I don't think we have the cap space.
Right. I think a name that comes up is possibly Morgan Frost, I don't know if that would be on the table for Chuck, but trading 1 for 1 or him in a second or even him in a first for all I care. Maybe. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Would you do that?
I put Hayes on LTIR.
Yeah, but
then you have all the cap.
But would you trade? I know the cap room doesn't matter though. St. Louis doesn't want to take on cap, so would you trade Frost and a pick?
JVR Frost in a pick or JVR or just Frost in a pick?
Frost in a pick.
Yes.
I think.
But I want to get rid of JVR.
I love JVR, so I'm not going to say I want to get rid of him, but the cap is a huge issue, and he really hasn't done anything so far this year. So it's going to be hard to move. He had the one bank pass
against Calgary or Vancouver on the power play.
Yep. He has not looked good. He's one of those players that needs to find his game here.
I understand how scorers are streaky. We saw it with Atkinson. He's 6 goals in the first 8 games, and then.
But he still always has, like tonight. Even he had that almost goal in overtime. Yeah, he has his chances.
The chances, and he's around there. I wouldn't mind seeing him in front of the net on a power play.
Atkinson.
Yeah, or maybe like that side of the net TK position.
Yeah,
not as a screener, just as he
try
can sneak in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can. I'd rather have a bigger body in there like JVR, But
what's that doing? He's not screening the goalie. He's not tipping pucks.
Right. He doesn't really do that stuff.
So
Risto?
Go fucking Risto in front of the net. Cool. I'd rather have him there than at the point on the power play.
Yeah. I don't know if he has a steady enough stick to, like, turn his body and be ready to get a quick goal like Atkinson or TK or somebody would be in front.
Yeah, I mean, just cause mayhem down there. I don't know, man.
Try anything at this point on the power play.
We need to change something about this team. They need a superstar. And there's not even superstars that grow cheese, but they need like an elite player. Like we said, Claude Giroux cannot be your best player. We thought maybe like 2 years ago Couturier is better than Giroux. That's not the case this year.
Yeah, even to mention that, it really does look like, is Coots possibly hurt a little bit, or like he kind of does look like he's a step slower than usual. At times you see I've seen his burst tonight. I saw it a little bit, but
he may have a nagging injury. But I mean,
but he has to play through it. He can't not play. Yeah.
If he sits out, what does our center?
We're absolutely screwed.
Depth look like
if he
exactly.
Gets
hurt. So what can he do? He can't. So I mean, at what point? Because there's a lot of talk about this. Do you worry about the Flyers medical staff, or is this just like bad luck that everyone's sort of re-aggravating injuries?
I worry about the medical staff for sure.
I'm not sure if it's how they're handling the rehab, or it's
I don't understand
letting guys in too early.
I don't understand how both the players that were out to start the year come back and both get re-injured. They weren't ready, clearly. They should have over-rested them. Like, there was no point in rushing them back like that.
They asked AV, after talking about Ellis specifically, was he not ready to go? Did you guys rush him back? And AV was like, no, he was ready to go, but I understand how it looks like we rushed him back since he's injured now. Yeah. So, what's...
It always looks that way after the
What is their test? What's their test for being ready to go? They go, hey, Ryan, you ready to go? And he just says, yeah.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I think most players will say yeah.
Every player will say yeah.
They want to
They'll
play.
be like, Doc, can I skate? And
I'd say
you can skate, but...
I'd say you let him play in the scrimmages and tell your players to go full speed at him. Actually hit him. Give him rough shots and stuff like that. And if you can handle that, then you play him.
Well, it's like there should be a standard for being medically cleared.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I don't trust the Flyers ownership at all at this point. It's gotten to that point where I don't trust many people within the Flyers organization other than, I guess, my players. Other than that, and I mean, I don't even trust the players on any given night. So it's
so you trust no one.
Yeah, it's a good.
Chuck gained a lot of my
trust. Anybody. Chuck oh yeah, you're right. Chuck is one of the few men in the Flyers organization, not player related, that I fully trust with my life.
I don't trust Brent Flair though, the AGM.
Yeah, we should be the AGM.
Dude, for real.
We'll take the one job and split the salary.
Yeah. So what other
Charlie
players
and
are
Mac and Always Sunny.
Yeah. Just to get the healthcare benefits.
Yeah, we just want the healthcare.
So who else is out there maybe besides Tarasenko? Is there anyone really available?
I've seen people.
It's tough because no one's going to make a trade at this point.
And I feel
Tomas Hertl.
I think he's going to cost more.
Expiring deal though,
or even the same as Tarasenko, probably.
He's a center, and he's not. And
yeah,
the thing about Tarasenko is you want the goals, right?
Yeah. That's what you want. I don't know. I can't right now. I cannot think of anybody else. I just know Tarasenko just because I overheard it. But
it's just how does 9 years of draft picks and no one pans out?
Well, that's just Ron Hextall's way.
It's so bad.
It is so bad, but it's whatever. Hopefully things will look up in the road ahead here as we head into Christmas. You got any, last thoughts before we wrap this up? Anything pressing that you want to talk about?
No, not really. I think I got it all off my chest. I can sleep well tonight.
Yeah. Well, I guess that wraps it for this episode. I hope you guys all have a happy Thanksgiving. And Z, why don't you take it away?
Yep. That was this episode of Tie My Skates. Please like, comment, subscribe on Instagram and Twitter at Tie My Skates Pod, and listen anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Z, he's DG, and we'll see you guys next time.